Hi, I'm making a game about a sad bird, and I'm not talking about your mother. I'm so sorry. February's a short month. I'm so tired. So yeah, plan was finish this game this month, pack it up, send it out, ship it, all of those other nouns, not nouns, verbs. I'm so tired. But you know, short month. I've done some bits, not a lot of bits, but I'll show you the some bits if you want to see some bits, and not your mum's bits. Oh. Again, I am so tired. So, here we are in the game, and what you'll notice is that the character now animates. He'll do like a little up and down bob thing that I'm doing in my head, but you can't see. Hopefully you can hear it though. Can you hear it? Ooh. Anyway, so he walks around, he does his little bob, and when you jump, it does a flap. So yeah, it animates now. Isn't that cool? Now I want to emphasise, I am not an artist or an animator. I'm a programmer and not a very good one, so it looks a bit rubbish, but I think it'll do the job. It'll do. And oh boy, did it take me a while to achieve this, because I don't know how to animate things. In my last game I had one animation and it was literally moving one thing back and forth. So yeah, this was a learning experience, but basically I have blend trees, which means that it will smoothly interpolate between these two animations. So the way this works is there's a parameter over here, so this will check the player's X velocity, and if it is over 5 then it will go to walking. Well, actually I think it's 0.25 technically, because this is where it will start walking and this is where it's fully walking, and so when this goes down it will slowly stop doing this animation and slowly transition into the idle animation. And then that is the same for the jumping animation, just with 3 instead. So if I'm flapping, which means my Y velocity is positive, so if it's over 5 or over 2.5, then it will start showing the flapping animation. If it's between 2.5 and whatever this is, what does that say? -5? Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. I didn't even see this number over here. Yeah, so if it's below about 0, oh, that makes sense, because it's between 5 and -5. It's been a long month, guys. It's been a long month. So, yeah, if it's at 5, we're flapping. If it's at -5, then we're falling. And if it's -7.5, then we start plummeting. And then to transition between these, if jumping is false and plummeted is false, then we're moving on the ground. If we're plummeted, which means that we've started falling too fast, then it goes to this one. And then if we're not plummeted anymore, then it turns back to ground movement. So let me show you what plummeted means. So if you were to fall from a great height, like here, it turns into a little owl-shaped splat. So in game, hold on, let me see if I can do this quick enough that you'll be able to see it. So the owl will fly down and then it'll crash on the floor and stay there for a second and then get back up again. So if you do mess up a jump, so I'm going to try and do this, but this game is designed to be annoying and frustrating, so I might not be able to do it. Hey, I did that bit. Right, this bit. And then the feather increases my stamina. Then if I do up, and then I can't move until I get back up again. So the way I did this was I added a bool called plummeting, which means if we are falling at a rate of more than -7.5, sorry, on the Y, then we set plummeting to true. And what that will mean is next time we check if we are grounded, if we were plummeting, then we set plummeted to true in the animator. We reset our Y velocity so we don't bounce up, because if I get rid of this line, then yeah, if I get rid of this line, then what happens is you end up sort of bouncing instead of squashing. So yeah, because of the physics, you do a little bounce, and I don't think that looks as good. I'd rather it be like a squash, like a not that you're dead, but like a, you know, mortally wounded. And then we set something called the stun timer to 1.5 F, which will be a second and a half. So then next time we run update, if the stun timer is less than or equal to 0, that means we can move again, but if it's not, then we come down here and we take time.delta time, which is a time between frames. I've said this many times, but I'm sure I'll still get confused by it. So updates run every frame, and then this is the time between now and the last time update was run. So the stun timer, we take away time.delta time, which just means it ticks down in real time no matter what your frame rate is, and then we set plummeting to false, which means that when we come back up here, if the stun timer is less than or equal to 0, then we can set plummeter to false in the animator, and then we're ready to go again next time this happens. And this check here just means that we cut out all of this movement code if we can't move, if we're still stunned. Yeah, I made a few new sprites, but that's where a lot of the time was taken up in not just making these, but also figuring this out. This was a good few evenings trying to get my head around whatever this is. I've said it before and I've said it again. I hate visual programming. It's the worst. Let me just write some code. Let me just do some little tippy tappy and it'll be done. And then next up, I wanted to add the other big game mechanic, wind. And no, we're not still talking about your mum. Oh god, kill me. Oh yeah, and you can see as well that I can kind of moonwalk a little bit. If you don't move too quickly, then you can inch backwards, which is not intentional, but it's a nice extra little side effect of this little check here. I had to fix a bug. There was a bug. Let me tell you about the bug. So, to make the sprite flip in the animator, I check the linear velocity x. So if we're moving horizontally, then I want the player to face that direction. So if the velocity, I did have it before, velocity more than 0 or velocity less than 0, then face that direction, which seems simple, right? Seems like that would make sense, but what actually happens is that if I were to do like a particularly big jump and then bounce backwards from the jump, doesn't happen every time. There you go, look. My velocity changed because it's a physics-based game, and so that resulted in the owl having a seizure, which is not what we want. So to stop that, I did a little check here, just give it a little leeway, so that if it is around, if it is like a tiny movement, then it doesn't matter, it doesn't make a difference. I should uncomment that as well. Realised I was just playing this instead of, I could just drop him there. I'd made the game, it's my game, I can do what I want. So, wind. So last time I told you about gliding, so if you hold space then you will float down, but at the cost of depleting your stamina. But if you were to glide, say, in some wind, then the wind would push you upwards. And that's a nice little extra bit of business. So it doesn't have to push you upwards as well. I could change it to push you downwards or something similar, but that's the idea. And actually this animation wasn't working last night when I was trying to figure this out, and I said sod it, it should work, and it doesn't, and I don't know why it doesn't. But now it does. Again, it's not a very good animation at all, but it gets the point across, doesn't it? That's, you know, you understand, you see what it does. It's yeah, it'll do, it's fine. But yeah, the way this works in the code is so if we're holding the jump button while we're in the air, so if jump input is progress and we are not grounded, then we get to this if statement here, and if the stamina is more than 0, then we have stamina left. And so what we do is we clamp the linear y velocity, which just means how fast we go up or down, to the gliding speed. I don't know what this does here. What does this one do? I should know that really, it's my code. Oh, it clamps it between gliding speed and 5f, which is upwards, which shouldn't generally happen. Which is too fast upwards, I should say. You should go up, but not that up. So we clamp it between gliding speed and 5f. So the lowest it can be is whatever gliding speed is set to, and the highest it can be is 5. And then we add that force, and then we deplete the stamina by however long you've held the button down. But so gliding speed up here by default is set to -1 in the inspector, but the wind, my old favourite on trigger enter, is so useful. So on trigger enter, if it's the player, then we set the player's gliding speed to be 1. So if they're in the wind, then we say that they move upwards at a rate of 1. And if they leave, then we set it back to the default of -1. So that just means when you're gliding, you go up instead of down. Easy. And then finally, as you probably already noticed, there's a little timer up here. Doesn't look very nice, but it does the job. That's all it needs to do. It just needs to see how long you spend on a particular bit. So the idea is that you'll be able to compare times for how quickly you've been able to get up here and finish the game. Because, like I say, it's designed to be frustrating. Because when you're in the air, you can't move. You're at the whim of the forces of the world. So if you do this and think, yeah, oh no, and you go splat, and then all your friends can laugh at you and say, "Ha! It took you 10 minutes to finish the game. Well, it took me 3. Get wrecked, scrub." If whatever the kids say these days, I don't know. Cash money. I'm not young, can you tell? It's been a long month. So yeah, that's where the game's at. Definitely going to be done for it next month, though. Definitely going to be done. The animator was a bit daunting to me. I've never animated anything in Unity apart from in my last game where it literally was just I can't express enough. I rigged the model, and when I say rigged, I mean there was one bone, and all that happened was you press a button, the animation happens, you release the button, the animation undoes itself. Not any of this blend tree malarkey. So yeah, it's going to be done next month. It'll be done. All I've got to do is build a level and then release it. I mean, that can't be that hard, right? Please tell me it's not that hard. I'm so tired.